Hello, learners. Today is Wednesday, March 18th, 2020. Yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. If you did anything to celebrate or anything in honor of St. Patrick's Day, you can tell me on Google Classroom. So today, our amazing question of the day is, what is the most amazing event that has ever happened to you? I'd say, getting my job was really amazing. I love my job, and that was like a really amazing event in my life. It's so hard to pick just one, but talk about it with whoever you're with, or you can choose to write about it. What is the most amazing event that has ever happened to you? And try to explain why, and use those elaboration skills like by adding details. So that is our amazing question for the day. Something for our mindful moment. This morning I was outside taking my dog Sophie for a walk, and she just looked at me because I said the word walk. I was taking her for a walk, and I was just, as I was walking, I was looking around, and I was like, wow, I can really see lots of signs of spring. I can see signs of spring, I can hear signs of spring, and I can smell signs of spring. So my mindful challenge to you is just go outside, close your eyes, and first listen. What can you hear that sounds like spring? Then open your eyes and look around. What can you see that looks like spring? Can you see little buds forming on trees? Do you see flowers, stems popping up? Do you see no more snow? The snow's all melted. Look around for signs of spring that you can see. And then I want you to smell. And can you smell any signs of spring? Like maybe it rained yesterday. Do you smell the rain? What kinds of things do you smell? And just try to be in the moment outside. So try to take in the beauty of nature and everything that it has to offer. Make sure that you're still playing outside. My good friend Mrs. Prey, who teaches at State Road, made a good point and said, if we were at school right now, you'd be running around playing outside at recess. So it's definitely not too cold or too windy to be outside today, so make sure that you are. So that's your mindful challenge. Get outside and see if you can sense some signs of spring. My challenge, I'm going to give you another challenge today. This is a challenge for something you can do while you're at home. I want to challenge you to try to help bake or cook and see if you can find the elements of math that are in baking and cooking. So think about how you measure things in baking and cooking, how you measure heat, time, ingredients, the science of putting them together. Think about how when you say you're baking brownies and on the brownie box it says you need an 8 by 10 pan, you could then calculate the area and the perimeter. So my challenge to you is bake or cook something by help your parents, don't do it on your own. And then think about the math that's involved with it, and you can also tell me about that in an email or on Google Classroom. You can share that. I'll try to put a little forum up for our baking/cooking challenge this week. Next, digital citizenship. We talked about this at the beginning of the year, and if you scroll down on my Google Classroom all the way to the end, there will be a link to the digital passport where we practice different online safety and awareness skills. So now that we're doing our learning remotely while you're at home and I'm at my home and we're communicating over the computer, remember to be a good digital citizen. That means being safe and respectful online, just like you're a member of your school community and your family's community and your neighborhood community. You're a member of the online community, so you want to make sure you represent yourself well and you're being a good citizen, okay? Going along with that, if you are at home and you're sharing electronics with brothers and sisters who are also home or with mom and dad who are working, make sure that you're showing care and being respectful. This is an interesting time for everyone. We're learning how to balance the work and what we're doing at home. So make sure that you're sharing screen time and also monitoring your screen time so you're not spending all day on your screens. After that, I wanted to talk about how you can make some math problems at home. Now, this sounds exciting to me. It might not sound exciting to you, but I'm hoping that it does because there's math all around you. So I was looking and I had dominoes. Now, if you have dominoes at your house to play the game, you can use them to make math. Because when you look here, what I see here and what Julia had pointed out to me once was that dominoes look like fractions. This could be 3/6, and you could simplify that to 1/2, and this could be just the whole number 5. So you could put whatever sign you want in the middle, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction, and you can add, subtract, multiply, divide 5 and 3/6 and do something with that. If you grab other things, here we have 4/4, which could be just one whole. Here I just have 2, so you could do something with these as fractions or as numbers. You could also, what I did here on this board was I set up spots for me to fill in digits. So here I set up a fraction division problem, and I have dice that I just took from a board game that I have. Do not lose them, or else the board game will not be very fun if you can no longer play it because you lost the dice, so be careful. If you have dice, you can roll them, and I rolled a 1 and a 3, so I could put a 1 and a 3 here and make this 1/3. I also rolled a 5 and a 6, and I could make this 5/6. So I could do 1/3 divided by 5/6, and then I could solve that. Same with here for multiplication. Down here, I set up a multiplication problem with decimals, so I can roll my dice and fill my decimal places and then multiply. Same with over here, I set up a division problem with decimals. I can fill my place values and then divide. Now, you want to remember your rules to divide by a fraction. Here's a tip: keep, change, flip. When you multiply, make sure you simplify to multiply, or you simplify at the end. When you multiply straight across the numerators, straight across the denominators. When you multiply decimals, you don't have to worry about the decimal points. Just multiply in your regular algorithm way, like you know how to multiply, and then count how many decimal places you have and shift your numbers that amount in your answer. Over here, if you have a decimal as in your dividend or under the roof, you just bring it straight up in the same spot and you divide. If your decimal is in your divisor on the outside, you have to shift, either multiply it by 10 or 100, so that you have a whole number out here. And then whatever you do to your divisor, you have to do the same thing to your dividend. But remember, if you still have a decimal in your dividend, that's okay. You just put it on top of the house, okay? So that's something that you can do there. I was also thinking you could use, I have a deck of cards here. You could use a deck of cards and you could shuffle them, and you can use the numbers. You can assign, like a jack could be 11, a queen could be 12, and you can use these. You can set them down, and you can use these numbers to fill your place values. So those are just some ways that you can engage in math at home. You can have a brother or sister, mom and dad, or aunt and uncle, whoever you're with. You could have them roll the dice or fill in the problem or try to make a problem for you. We've done things in our classroom where we've written our own word problems, so you could try to do that and then try to solve them, go back and forth. But those are just ways that you can use things that you might have around you to engage in your math. Okay. The last thing I'm going to leave you with is another story cube. So hopefully yesterday you used the topic that I gave you of the castle to do a 1-sentence story tell all the way around everyone in your family until you finish the story, focusing on your transition words. I'm being cognizant today of not just saying moving on. I'm trying to use more transition words in my own speaking, which can sometimes be difficult. So I have story cubes here. I'm going to roll it. You can either write about this topic or this item in a story, or you can speak it and tell a 1-sentence story all the way around. All right, I'm going to roll this one. Ooh. I rolled a cell phone. Yes, kids, this is a cell phone. It might look a little different than the cell phones you have seen or look at, but this is a cell phone. So, a cell phone can be in your story, it could be part of your story, it could be the beginning of your story, it could be the main character in your story. If you want to talk about a fiction story in the cell phone, you use personification to make the cell phone a person. Fine. 1-sentence story, start with this, use this somewhere in your story, and go around with whoever is near you and talk 1 sentence each in the story and go all the way around until you've completed the story. Or you can write about it. So you can use this topic, and you can write either a fiction story, you could write a non-fiction piece, you could use this as a time to research the history of cell phones or the importance of cell phones, or you could write an opinion piece about whether or not you think cell phones are important. So you can use this topic and practice a lot of different skills. So I'll leave you with this. Until next time, learners, contact your teachers if you need any help. Stay well, stay healthy, know that you're missed, and we all love to be in school, and teaching like this makes me a little sad because the best part of my job is getting to be with you. But we're going to make this work. We're going to show resilience, which is one of our essential skills, and we're going to be leaders and be helpers and do everything that we can until we're back in school. Have a great day. Until next time, this is Miss G. I'll see you soon.